Hello, welcome again. We are solving Journal Study Paper 1 of year 2023 of Civil Services Pre-Exam. Question number 62 is with reference to the Earth atmosphere, which one of the following statement is correct? Option A, the total amount of insolation received at the equator is roughly about 10 times of that received at the poles. Option B, infrared rays constitute roughly two-thirds of insolation. Option C, infrared waves are largely absorbed by water vapor that is concentrated in the lower atmosphere. Option D, infrared waves are a part of visible spectrum of electromagnetic waves of solar radiation. So here, uh, according to option A, the total amount of insolation received at equator is roughly about 10 times of that received at the pole. So that is not correct. So the equator receives most of the insolation, that is solar radiation, compared to other latitude of the earth, but it is not a simple tenfold difference compared to a pole. While the equator receives more direct sunlight and the total amount of insolation varies throughout the year, with peaks around equinox and through around solstice. Overall average annual insolation at the equator is around 400 watt per meter square, gradually decreasing towards the pole. Okay, so equator receives most of the insolation, but it is not 10 times, so A is wrong. Second is infrared waves constitute roughly two-thirds of the insolation, so that is also not correct. So most part of the insolation is your ultraviolet and visible portion. So second statement, option B is not correct. Infrared rays constitute roughly two-thirds of the insolation. That is not correct. Explanation is insolation is frequently referred to as short wave radiation. It falls primarily within the ultraviolet and visible portion of the electromagnetic spectrum and consists predominantly of wavelength of 0.3 to 0.76 micrometer. If we see the electromagnetic spectrum, so this is the range of 10 to the minus 6 up to 700 mm or 0.7 micrometer. There is visible range, and before that ultraviolet range. And infrared the and the insolation is referred to 0.3 to 0.76. So this, so ending point here for visible spectrum is 0.7. So infrared rays are not the almost not the part of this insolation. So that statement is wrong. So infrared rays constitute roughly two-thirds of insolation. That is wrong. Third statement is infrared waves are largely absorbed by water vapor that is concentrated in the lower atmosphere. So that is correct. Infrared rays are largely absorbed by water vapor in lower atmosphere. Specifically, water vapor is concentrated in troposphere, which is the lowest part of the Earth's atmosphere. This absorption process contributes to greenhouse effect, helping to retain heat and maintain habitable temperature on Earth. So answer is option C. So that statement is correct. And fourth statement, infrared waves are a part of visible spectrum of electromagnetic waves of solar radiation. So that is also wrong. This is your visible spectrum. Infrared waves are here after this 700 mm or 0.7 micrometer. So infrared rays are not the part of visible spectrum. They have longer wavelength than visible light and are not detectable by the human eye. Infrared radiation falls within the electromagnetic spectrum but outside the range of human can see. So answer is option C. Third statement is correct. Infrared rays are largely absorbed by water vapor in the lower atmosphere. That is the third statement. Okay. So answer is option C.